Baby, let me tell you about Patty's pastries. Baby, let me tell you about Patty's pastries.
What up, y'all?
What's goody? What's goody?
Welcome back to another episode of In a
Pinch with Patty, featuring
Quis.
Quis.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. Hoping that you guys had a great week. I know I had a great week. How was your week, Marquise?
I had a great week.
Okay. Anything like special accomplished?
I got my phone fixed. If y'all tuned into last week's episode, y'all know my phone was broken. This week it is fixed. We're back in business.
Back to sending green bubbles.
Hey, we get into it. And, sales was good this week. Spread a lot of positivity, made a lot of people smile. So this week was a good week.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Like I said, I had a pretty good week as well. Like, nothing like outrageous happened, but I had a decent week. If you guys tuned in to last week, we talked about the journey of success, the journey to success. I definitely tried to apply some of that to my week last week for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, just chugging right along. I think I can.
Progress, growth. Y'all know what the business is. That's all it's about.
Right. So, if you guys didn't get a chance to listen, please go, take a few minutes. I promise you, once we start talking, you'll definitely be ready to listen to what we're saying.
For sure.
This week, moving right along, we are going to be talking about keeping up with the Joneses.
Ooh.
Marquise, is that a saying that you're used to hearing?
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with the saying, keeping up with the Joneses. I heard that a lot, told to me growing up, as far as my stepdad, it was you always trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, it's old school.
Yeah, it is an old school saying, but it makes a lot of sense now that I'm older and I see where he was coming from.
Yeah, Joneses are now Kardashians. Shout out to the Kardashians.
There you go, sponsor us.
Yeah, please. We are funny and we're real.
Definitely honest.
And we like Skims.
What? She likes Skims. I don't know what that is. I don't apply to that right now.
Well, Skims are great. Anyway, guys, I'm pretty sure, if you've been listening, who knows, if you're old, young, we love all of y'all, but
Definitely
me especially, my mom always used to be we're not keeping up with the Joneses. And I remember thinking to myself, who the fuck are the Joneses? I just want a new pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I'm not trying to keep up with nobody. I'm trying to keep these holes out my soul at this point. But
who the fuck are the Joneses? Where did that saying come from?
So apparently it's a popular 1950s saying.
Is it a movie or a TV show or a radio broadcast?
No, it's it was a popular phrase back then to and it's basically just a low-key shade saying it's the pressure to keep up with your neighbors social status or their wealth or their popularity. So it just refers to how people constantly try to compare themselves to other people or do the stuff that other people
are doing.
Right. Yeah, so I definitely grew up on hearing we're not keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there was less pressure to keep up with the Joneses when I 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you didn't have the best pair of shoes, nobody was gonna. Not gonna lie, somebody might clown you, but if you didn't have the best pair of shoes, you know what I mean? It's not like today where they're gonna be What are those?
Just saying.
You know,
talk about somebody else's shoes.
right. So
Yeah.
like it was less pressure. There was no like social media. There was no like people making videos.
For sure.
Like you just, again, you might hear about it through a group of friends or something, but like by the time you had a hard day or whatever, like, or you might see some shit on like, America's Funniest Home Videos, but like, nah, I don't feel like. Now, social status was a thing back then.
Yeah, facts. I was about to say, like, if you pulled up in some shacks, in my time, like, it wasn't really about like social media, but like somebody gonna say something like, yo, is those some shacks? Like, what's going on here? You good? And like, but then again, it was like between like an immediate group of friends, like, but it wasn't even like that serious because like it wasn't about having like the most expensive shoe. But growing up like in Hawaii, like, I mean, people wore flip-flops to school, so like it wasn't really about, having the best shoe collection and being the flyest and stuff like that. I think that was just like a joke between like people from the mainland who kind of knew what stuff was. Like, you wear a pair of Jordans to school, ain't nobody giving you extra creds because you got Jordans on. But times change, and shit is different depending on where you at.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with that. But I mean, it's hard to escape now with social media because it's like in your face every day. Like, so how do you feel like social media affects like
keeping up with the Joneses?
Keeping up with how does that affect that like mindset or outcome?
Nowadays it's crazy. It's like you get to see the possibilities of what is possible, what you can make happen, what you can have, the things that you can do. You get to see like, it's more than just like watching MTV Cribs, and you get to see like, Lil Wayne's house, like, oh, he got a mansion and 5 cars outside. That's cool. Well, nowadays you watch TikTok and you see Mr. Johnson from, YouTube. He got 15 acres and, a giant ass crib and 20 cars outside. That kind of makes you think like the limit is higher than what it used to be. I used to think like, should I be cool with a mansion and a car outside? But like, in my head, it's kind of like, I'm still cool with that. Let me get that mansion. God, go ahead, bless me real quick.
Right.
But like, the possibilities of what's out there and what could happen, like, I feel like the spectrum is way broader nowadays. Like, you get to see like more of what can happen. So like, keeping up with the Joneses is you get to see people's lives, like, and that kind of makes you compare, like, well, shit, they're shitting on a gold toilet, I'm sitting on this porcelain I've been sitting on for the same 30 years. Like, let me step it up a little bit. So I feel like that's like a comparison that is definitely keeping up with the Joneses and wanting to have the fly shoes or have what, I guess it's trending. I guess keeping up with the Joneses is now called trending. I think that's what it is.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it for sure. But it's like, do you think that's more of a positive thing or a negative thing?
Negative.
For sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a negative thing.
Because it's like,
you're comparing to yourself in every aspect now. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's like, it's something that, we've dealt with for like a really long time. Like I said, I mean, that comes from like the 1950s. So that's like a 70-year-old saying, you know what I mean? Like, but again, like, different wording, same shit. Like, I feel like, I mean, look at proms, for example. Proms are like crazy. Like, I feel bad for these kids, like, in school. Even just, everybody's kids are going back to school. Perfect time to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, and imagine like these kids that don't have, you know what I mean, that don't have the luxury of having, you know, 5 pairs of brand new shoes and $100 book bag, and like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
for sure.
It's like, and I mean, big up to all the parents that are like doing their thing, and I'm not like trying to throw any shade or whatever, but it's just like, you know, when we went back to school, you get like we didn't have uniforms, obviously, and that's like even more of a, don't even get me started on that, but I'm just saying, like, when we went back to school, I don't know about how you came up, but like I came up with like, we got like a good week of like fresh ass clothes, maybe 10 days, you know what I'm saying? A good 10 fits.
Start mixing, matching.
Maybe get 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
And your school supplies, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? We're not rolling up into school with like freaking red bottoms on, super exclusive ass like Chanel's and shit. Like, bro, it's school.
Shit changed.
It's school, not a fashion show. Like,
shit changed. It's not the same no more.
so, and then like same with prom. Like, yeah, like you'll get a nice dress, do get a nice tux, you know what I mean? Like
limo.
the thing back in the day for me was, you know, limos. You ask what nobody if you ain't have no limo ride to prom. Like, and it's like, I even get that. Like, you want to pull up in style, you know what I'm saying? You want to go out with the bang. I even get a limo, but it's like, bro, motherfucker, like keeping up the Joneses to me back then was like people having like massive after parties, like, you know what I mean? And like, I was just like, you know, I gotta do something big too. You feel me? Like, so I just think like that's evolved, and I feel like it hasn't evolved in like a positive way. And I think, you know, again, I think I feel like, yes, you have to work hard for what you want.
Of course.
But I also feel like there's levels, you know what I mean? And everybody can't be on the same level, because if everybody was on the same level, like, you know, the world wouldn't be right. I don't think shit would be great if everybody was on the same level. There would be no understanding at all, no humility, like none of that.
Everybody feel like they run shit. That'd be a crazy way.
It would be a crazy, right? Well, I can't really say that because like we're in like woke culture, but like, yeah, like too many bosses, not enough, you know, not enough staff type. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's one thing. Another thing I feel like is even like, you know, appearances, like literal appearances. Like,
yeah, for sure.
People are having, you know, people are getting their teeth done, they're getting their bodies done, they're, you know, so much different like cause, and I'm not, again, like I'm not passing judgment on that, but I'm just saying, because you know, why you do it may not be why somebody else does it. We're talking about like you doing it specifically to be like, oh, well, she looks like that, so I need to look like that. You know what I mean? We're not talking about people that have stuff done for like health reasons or whatnot, but like, and at the end of the day, it's your right to do whatever you want to. But I feel like, you know, that's tough with society, because, you know, you see, me included, I look at females and I see females that have had this surgery or that surgery, and I'd be like, yo, if I got that, like, I wonder how I would look if I got like that. And then it's like, you think like, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not judging anybody, but like for me personally, I have to like look into the logistics, see what the
pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons for sure. Yeah. And if I do something, I do it for me, not to do. And I guess that's what makes me like weird, because like one part of me is like, I feel like I am super vain. Like if I go out, I want like the nicest shoes on. I want like, you know, I'm gonna get dressed like.
Gotcha.
But then there's like certain days where I go out looking like a bum, not giving a fuck. So as far as like appearances, yo, I'll be out with Liz all the time. I'm like, yo, somebody's probably memeing me right now. And she's like, stop that. I'm like, no, for real. Somebody's probably memeing me right now. But it's like, I gave up with like keeping up with appearances a long time ago, aka the Joneses. Now, this is where we're gonna flip it around though. How do you feel like that affects, like, how do you feel like keeping up with the Joneses versus business?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a very good one, because I mean, I guess I can only speak from experience for a lot of shit that I say. I can only speak from experience because that's what's real. But like, when you see now in the age of social media and things like that, you get to see more small businesses succeeding. May it be people that you know, or people that you follow, or people that you come across and things like that. And you get to see their, I guess you would say, overnight success, or the success as it happens. And that makes you think like, hey, I can make that happen. Like, I literally watched this shit from, you know, nothing to something, you know, not seeing the entire process, but get to seeing like, you know, a little glimpse of what they have going on. So I feel like nowadays it's like, all right, they made it happen, I can make it happen, so let me keep up with that. But then in a sense of having your own business nowadays is kind of regular, so seeing somebody do a couple thousand in sales, it's like, well, fuck, I only did a couple hundred in sales, like, I gotta keep up with them, I'm not doing good enough. When realistically, like, you're doing better than a lot of people who aren't speaking on the shit that they make happen, or, you know, people who aren't doing as well. But I feel like that's become a big comparison thing nowadays. Like, we get to see it, that social media is putting all in our face. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, the algorithm is what is that stuff is tailored to. Like, if you look up like business stuff, if you look up, you know, bullshit, it's gonna tailor to that. So if you're looking up, you know, small businesses, you're gonna see small businesses with 7 likes and 2 sales a month or 1 sale a month, and then you're gonna see them grow into, you know, a fucking company. So I feel like, you know, social media has definitely made keeping up with the Joneses a big thing.
I mean, I feel like it can be both positive and negative when it's pertaining to business.
For sure.
For the simple fact of, I feel like it's positive when, you know, you need that extra push to be like, you know what, if they're doing this, then I can definitely
make it happen
this.
as well.
I'm sleeping on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me push myself a little bit harder. Like I said, if they're doing it, I can do it. So I feel like that's like one thing that it could be like used as far as like a positive outlook on it. But like, to turn that right back around, like, that could be very discouraging to somebody that's just starting out. And like, you know, there are some businesses that when they first start out, they take off, and that's
for sure.
great.
Shout out
but
to
then,
them.
yeah, big shout out to them. But then there's businesses that take you 6 months, a year. You know what I mean?
Just to even.
I don't feel like. I feel like anything after like a year, like, you need to figure out what you're doing. Like, if you haven't, like, 6 months to a year, if like it's not doing nothing for you, like, you need to pursue different. Yeah, for sure. Little piece of advice.
Try that out, yo.
Yeah, but like, I do feel like it could be negative as far as like putting you in a bad headspace or like discouraging you for sure. What are some other like topics that you feel like are important as far as like it related to keeping up with the Joneses?
Really like cultural, social influences, FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, a lot of times we feel like, well, shit, everybody else is doing this. Why am I not doing this? What am I, you know, I feel like that becomes a big comparison thing. Like, it's summertime, you see a bunch of people on vacation, you're like, well, fuck, fear of missing out. Like, we see a lot of people doing things. It's summertime. We see people traveling. We see people going out to the club, having good times with their friends. We see, like, you know, just a lot of different shit happening, and we feel like, well, fuck, I'm missing out. Like, you know, I grew up with these people, or I've seen what these people gone through. Like, I should be doing this type of shit as well. So, I mean, I guess that really revolves around social media. For real, for real. All of that revolves around social media.
Yeah. I just feel like it's a lot of pressure, especially on like the younger crowd. I feel like back in the day, like the big like keeping up with the Joneses is like, what college are you going to?
Okay.
Like what? Yeah, that was a big one. Like school, like growing up in Carolina, like you better know it. Like, are you going to Duke? Are you going to Chapel Hill? Are you going to a HBCU? Because there are so many there. Like, where are you going? And like your family going to a school is very like
big.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, like they pass down that, like, oh, I want you to be this, I want you to be that, I want you to be a Tar Heel, I want you to be a Blue Devil, yeah.
Not in Hawaii, bro. None of that.
Really?
We ain't talking about what schools you was going to. Not even like, I mean, I guess it was like where you going, but it was like, oh, I'm moving to so-and-so, like Michigan, and probably go to community college or whatever. But like, the whole like, oh yeah, I'm going to Yale or like Harvard, like nobody was like on that shit. Like, oh, and so is studying to go to Harvard. Like, none of that shit was like, nobody talked about none of that.
Even, I mean, it happens in churches as well. Like, keeping up with the Joneses is big in churches too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably one of the worst places it happens. What you got on, what you pull up in, how much you tithe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
My church was big on not like being judged as far as like having like that. I don't want to say that was their slogan, but it was a big thing, like come as you are. Like that was, I don't know. I mean, maybe that was just something that I heard when I was young. But that's because we're more
progressive, you know. Like, I mean, you're a little younger than me.
This was in 2009, 8, 7.
I'm
maybe
talking
before
about
that.
The 90s, bro.
Oh yeah, I was just being.
I was a teenager. Yeah.
I was. Oh yeah. See, nah, it's totally different times.
Yes.
But that's a good way to see the progression and shit like that. Like, I mean, that was a big thing because I guess maybe that was the issue in your time. So by my time, they.
Nah, it still happens. 100%. There is definitely
a lot of
like
judgmentalism,
for sure. There's different levels on church family, if that's what you want to call it.
Wow,
like,
that makes sense.
I'm just here to tell y'all guys, like, don't get caught up in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. Like, if you want a nice pair of shoes, go get you a nice pair of shoes. If you want a nice car, go get you a nice car. If you want to live in like a really luxurious neighborhood, go do that. But don't make poor financial decisions, you know what I mean? Chasing after somebody else's dream when you're not going to be able to fund your own, trying to keep up with the next person.
That shirt at Ross looks just as nice as the one at Gucci. That house with the gated fence looks as good as the gated fence with the security guard who only 6 hours a day. And that car looks just as good in black in the Beamer as it does in the goddamn Hyundai. So,
I won't agree with that on all of that, but like I get the point that you're trying to make. Like, listen, your time is your time. When it's your time,
when you like it, you like it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you like it, you like it. But like, let's keep it real. If you're like if you're super financially stable, right? Like, are you gonna like you don't have to worry about anything. You're super financially stable. Are you gonna drive a Hyundai? Are you gonna? Oh nah, That's you.
You ain't seen the new Hyundais?
I mean, nah, I won't.
Oh, that
I don't
shit's
care
fire.
about getting no like crazy, like over the top. Like,
So what you gonna get?
I'm getting a range. Like, yeah.
That speaks business when you see that.
Yeah, I'm getting a range. Like, fuck
feel
all that.
you.
That's my dream car. So if I'm ever like super financially stable, that's
Bro,
what
that's
I want.
over 60,000 pounds. You can put that on an LLC. What you mean?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just not. I don't want to make no payments on a range right now. I'm
We can
chilling.
rent it out. Come on, Taro.
Nah, I don't even listen. There's too much scamming going on. Like, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, that's a whole episode right there.
Yo, it's wild. But I don't know. Like, you do what you gotta do, but just
For sure.
don't do it with me at all.
Shit.
But yeah, guys, I mean, when it comes to don't pressure yourself trying to be like the next person. Be yourself. Be comfortable. You know, some people it takes a year, some people it takes 10 years. Like, you gotta do what works for you. And like, it's always good to like get inspiration. There's nothing wrong with inspiration, but like feeling like the need to like keep up with somebody, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I could like leave you guys with anything, I would definitely say, you know, do you, be comfortable, don't let life stress you out because it will, and just don't worry about keeping up with the next person.
For sure. Smile. Stay
I love
positive.
you. Straight up.
That's it.
So guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you're new here, welcome. If you're, you know, seasoned vet within a pinch with Patty,
Thank you.
we thank you. Tell your friends about us. Play us in the car, like on your way to work. You know what I mean? We're funny. And again, guys, hit subscribe, like, follow, comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. We have some good topics coming up. We're still doing the 100 subscriber giveaway.
Ooh.
So again, to all those who rock with us, we appreciate you. And I guess that's about it. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, this has been In a Pinch with Patty. Featuring
Quis.
Peace.